Hello, how you doing? We're doing another CinemaWins reaction video. This time we are doing The Amazing Spider-Man. Now that we finished the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, figured we'll do the Mark Webb movies. The director's name is way less famous than Sam Raimi, but Andrew Garfield movies, sure. So I think The Amazing Spider-Man is a decent movie, like a 6 out of 10. Like, it's fine. It does have some really cool things. I like that it has a unique take on Spider-Man that's different from the rest, even if it does repeat a little bit too much from the first movie, but it's fine. And I definitely appreciated it more now that No Way Home has come out and all that. So yeah, not much else to say. I actually, one thing I do remember that this movie was CinemaSins' very first video, and I remember Wins like actually responding to a lot of the criticism CinemaSins made before Birdman did it. So that's pretty interesting. Can't wait to do that, or see that how it plays out. So without further ado, let's get this over with.
Today's long-awaited video has been sponsored by Skillshare. First 500 people to sign up with the link at the top of the description will get 2 months free. No, that can't be right. That's way too good of a deal. Nope. That is what it says.
Pass. Yeah. The Amazing Spider-Man.
This movie exists.
Yeah, that was the first CinemaSins sin ever. Yeah.
Raimi was all but checked out after the studio's meddling on 3, and Tobey Maguire's back couldn't handle another romp in the suit. Okay, elephant in the room. This is an important movie for the zeitgeist, so expect some subtle and not so subtle responses.
Yeah.
As salty and wet blankety as you can handle.
Yeah, he addresses that right out of the gate. Yeah. Yeah, because I know this movie was one of the many movies that was people love to poke plot holes in. Like The Dark Knight Rises was another one that came out the same year. Yeah, it was definitely one of those things.
Nothing like Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt on screen together to let you know we're in the past. Did you know Murray the dog's real name was...
Oh, was he talking about on the TV? Huh.
Maui. You do now. One key thing that separates the Amazing Spider-Man from OG's the parents' mystery. Maybe it's not what we're used to, but they set up and mostly teased their story in this one and then ran it through to 2. So, kudos for that.
Yeah. Does anybody find the whole mystery around Peter's parents interesting? Because I don't really. Especially because both movies begin with the same flashback, but then they don't really... They, like, go back to it at times, but the plots don't really revolve around Peter's parents and, like... Or, like, his father, mostly, what he was working with at Oscorp. It's kind of weird how they handled it. Like, I don't know.
Shins are always a win.
Are you busy Friday night? Can you take pictures of my boyfriend's car?
It's almost a cliche at this point to say Maguire understood Parker, Garfield understood Spidey, but Garfield was too cool for Parker. And I'm not seeing that. More on that later.
Yeah, I mean, he has the skateboard, which, but yeah, he's actually not, like, in this scene, he's actually pretty awkward with that girl and later with Gwen.
Great, what you did out there.
Apparently not amazing, though.
No, I know your name. I just want to know if you know your name.
Spaghetti,
If you can't eat it keg stand style, what's the point?
water from the adventure tray, or the heat exchange tubing.
The Spider-Verse gave us Peter B. Parker. Amazing gave us Peter B. Smart. The setup for this continuity.
I like how he doesn't add a win for that.
Peter's Peter Parker is pretty solid. Pretty much everything you need to know about him is established in under 10 minutes.
Yep.
His parents are gone, he's less of an athletic type, more academic, he gets bullied by a giant over-exaggerated walking cliche named Eugene, he just recognizes that Gwen is a decent person and cares for his well-being, and he's wicked smart about some technical stuff.
Yep.
Weird that nothing about lap dances came up.
Oh yeah, I remember that weird lap dance scene the CinemaSins had. That was weird. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like this is like the only Spider-Man of all of them where they really like talk about, like, oh, he's smart, but I guess Tom Holland had some moments where they try to remind you, oh, remember, he is a genius, he's a science geek. Like, there's a famous scene in No Way Home where he outsmarts Doctor Strange with trapping him in the mirror dimension. Yeah, but Andrew does have more. Toby definitely had the least of it, I would say, of the three, where it didn't feel like he was that big of a science geek.
Also, I can't not mention this. That is a very distinct kickball sound.
That is, yeah.
Cross when I see one.
That's an Arya Stark level astute observation. For a movie that gets derided for being an unnecessary pile of garbage, shots like this let me know that the creators did care and were invested in how it came out, which is why it was my teaser frame in John Wick 2 that first time.
Oh,
And a lot of
nice.
you recognized it immediately, without Peter or anything Spider-Man related, just the briefcase, which I like to think means something.
That's nice.
You know, Julia found that out recently.
What?
It means something.
Plumbers don't fix appliances.
You know, Julia found that out recently. So it's like a plumber lesson and a general repair contractor lesson.
Aha.
Some guy who worked with your dad, I guess.
Why, that's Xenophilius Lovegood. How could you not recognize him, people who are ruining this reference by not appearing in Harry Potter? Guy who looks like Sirius Black. Nailed it.
Oh, yeah, it
High
kinda
school kid
does.
Window poster. Kind of like the 400 Blows poster I had. Because cinephiles are sometimes born young and don't really understand the word pretentious yet. Also, to be fair, I had a really cool French language teacher who must have also been a cinephile now that I think about it. Thanks, Mrs. Murphy. Sorry,
Interesting.
Madame Murphy. Je me souviens de tout. Pas vraiment. Also, while being a petty nitpicker, Peter is a photographer. So the idea that he respects Alfred Hitchcock, the man who invented the dolly zoom, not that far-fetched. And if you've ever seen...
Can somebody explain to me who Alfred Hitchcock is? I'm just remembering. I've heard that name a bunch, but I don't remember. You said he invented dolly zooms? That's cool.
In Rear Window, you know it's about voyeurism and watching people. Something Peter would potentially connect with. But also as set dressing for a character, it's perfect. Hey look! Uncle Ben is fiddling with the Rubik's Cube. That must be why it's messed up when he puts it back down.
That's another CinemaWins thing that he pointed out, but yeah.
Kurt Connors.
Something of a cliche dodge. Easy way to get some manufactured tension. But Uncle Ben comes clean right away because that's more the relationship they have.
Oh, yeah.
Splice of life. Even experimental geneticists aren't above some good wordplay. Ooh, webpage to live action transition.
That was a really cool
Nice.
segue, yeah.
Are you having trouble finding yourself?
You could say he hasn't even begun to scratch the surface. Yeah, that's zombies, not spiders. He hasn't even begun to bite the skin.
And yes,
No.
in case you're wondering, I'm a southpaw.
Everyone is looking at this kid, which is actually believable because a bunch of high schoolers would probably be slightly uncomfortable with Dr. Connors drawing attention to his arm.
You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
See, the implication is that Gwen is first in the class, i.e. why she'd definitely be head intern of a group of 24. And also, while we're talking
Right.
about
I
things,
kind of figured.
to call her his love interest at this point isn't really paying attention. Peter isn't suave enough to feign not knowing her name. He really wasn't sure. This is one of the things that add to his love for her, almost like real life. Best IRL version of Rhino I know of.
Oh. Oh, yeah. And then Rhino pops up in the next one.
Look at that, 2 button taps and 2 finger slides. It would take some kind of genius to replicate that. All right, I'm gonna chill a little. Come on, it's 2 perpendicular swipes to the same location.
Yeah, there you go, CinemaWins, for why Peter is able to figure that out. He's a genius, for crying out loud. Play.
That's a hard nope.
Yeah.
Still a nope.
There's a spider bite.
Some of you might be thinking, where did that skateboard come from? Well, he walked in with it and then checked his board and bag with security as buildings like this often require.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's just the coolest
Whoa.
little detail. A few frames of his eventual
Oh, wow. No, I actually just noticed that while I was watching that. Wow. That is really cool.
Spidey sense. Weirdest editing choices, but still fun Spidey sense.
Yeah.
Complaints about this movie aside, you've got to admit that his movements are...
Spider-like.
They're spidery.
Spidery,
This
sure.
whole sequence is kind of a goofy explanation of how weird it is that Spider-Man never really learns to fight. You know, he doesn't really have to because his senses are so heightened that normal humans are just non-threats to him. Just
That's
imagine it's
true.
you in this subway, but with like really tall 2-year-olds coming after you. If you step too quickly to one side, they may not be sure you even exist anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man
Just like Mr.
flies,
Miyagi,
spiders
except with
fly,
his
flies.
fingers instead of chopsticks.
Compliments.
Didn't you tell me you didn't like my meatloaf?
I don't know, I feel like it's more of a nobody really likes meatloaf type situation.
Hey, I like meatloaf. Meatloaf's fine. I like it. My mom has some good meatloaf. Come on.
But good for Ben coming clean after all these years.
Huh.
I said nope. It's a funny montage of Peter realizing he has powers, but it plays so well into what some of us were just talking about on Twitter. I just feel like the likelihood of Peter not accidentally killing someone, namely Flash, is just about impossible. Also,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Minecraft montage is the fastest way to flood the entire house. Seriously, Peter. Putting a towel over that does not stop the water from flowing.
Oh, that's so scary. Yeah. Like, actually, yeah.
The startling nature of his heightened senses from Spidey sense is captured expertly.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, if Spidey sense happened like that in real life, it would definitely be this scary, I feel like. Where you're just like, oh, what's that? All the time before you eventually, like, get more attuned and more practiced at it. Yeah, definitely something the other movies never really tackled.
It's not all climbing walls and dating redheads or blondes. Who can keep up?
Gonna change the lives of millions.
Just want to point out that Connor's initial goal was changing the world and helping people like him, so his plan in the end isn't totally out of left field.
It's not.
Oh, Nigel the leg gruff. I see those loan sharks finally got to you.
You did that on purpose, Flash!
No, but I should have. You better watch your back.
And to be honest, I think we were all hoping for a little accidental, oops, you're dead now, Flash. Maybe Garfield is a teensy bit too cool for Peter. This is
Yeah.
dissatisfying. But they always have to take it just a little too far.
Literally.
That's Ashley Howard. Or okay, Maya from 22 Jump Street. Spider-Man movies have a knack for finding talented extras. I just outed myself for watching Greek.
Uh-huh.
It's the girl on your computer.
Discretion.
He got you on his computer.
Oh, Ben, why would you do that?
But now I'm going to bring it back to him being too cool for school. He's not with Gwen. Just because it works doesn't mean he had anything to do with it. She likes him, so he can literally say nothing and still get a date. That's the point.
You
Oh.
want, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. We could, or we could do something else, or we could, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
They really are.
Got some?
Yeah. No, their chemistry is really fun. I like the text he puts up there. Like, their chemistry is really fun. Like, you can tell they like each other, but they don't know how to say it out loud. Yeah. And of course, I mean, everybody knows this, but if I don't say it, people are gonna comment it. Yes, I know that Andrew and Emma dated in real life. That was really cool.
Some twofold visual storytelling here. Peter is flying high after a positive interaction with Gwen, and he's finally got a chance to mess around and test his powers. Coldplay.
Sure.
2012. What do you want? And while nothing is ever going to touch Toby's first time trying out his powers, they went in a very different direction and it works.
It
He sort
does.
of extends his skills he has as a skateboarder and then accidentally finds out how his powers work.
Oh yeah.
No, extends his
Oh,
skills
yeah,
he has as a
accidentally.
skateboarder and then accidentally finds out how his powers
That was actually really cool. Yeah, the way he did that.
work. You know, I don't think I've ever really put that together. I get that swinging on webs is what spiders do, but to see it visually and to turn it into inspiration for him, I'm into it.
Sure.
Polio in an afternoon. What if the device were loaded with a toxin? What if you wanted to opt out?
Connors even gets the problems with it. Honestly, the biggest failure may have been separating the two personas more distinctly. No one in comics stays dead except Uncle Ben.
Yep.
And I know that anyone unfamiliar with the comics was thinking, wait, so not only are we getting an origin reboot 10 years later, it's exactly the same? Right down to a low-level criminal that Peter could have stopped killing Uncle Ben? Granted, Lowell was retconned into doing it by the end, but...
Well, yeah. Let's not talk about that. I already talked about that in Spider-Man 3. But yeah, that's definitely one of my biggest complaints, where it's like, it's a little too similar to the first Raimi movie, where it's like, wait a minute, why? It's like, yeah, the exact same, where it's like, right down to Peter trying to get something from this one guy, from this cashier. A criminal comes in, takes the money. The cashier is like, hey, come help. And Peter's like, that missed the part where that's my problem. Or in this case, not my policy. And then that same criminal kills Uncle Ben, making Peter feel guilty. It is literally the exact same. And it's like, okay, like, you could have, I don't know, could have found the way to differ that. I don't know. Like, oh well. Oh, sorry. Losing my place. Here it is.
This is that poignant moment right from Spidey's first comic origin that cements the famous line.
That if you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things.
And I actually
Yeah, the overcomplicated way of trying to say with great power comes great responsibility.
appreciate that the grade is taken out of this iteration. That means we're all on the hook, shown by a man with no great power doing what he can, even if it causes his death.
Okay, I've actually been thinking about this. Like, people have been saying, like, Ben kind of killed himself in that moment. Like, the way he was jumping at the gun, like, trying to grab it, and then he accidentally, he gets shot, and it's like, you kind of brought that upon yourself, man. But I don't know, I'm thinking about it, because I'm thinking, okay, what if I were in that situation? What would I do? I kind of get what Ben was going for. Like, he was trying to stop the guy from using the gun to shoot somebody else. He was trying to save other people. So in that sense, I get what they were saying. Like, sure. it still feels a little weird, but like, I don't know. I feel like some people would run away, but Ben was trying to be heroic. I don't know. I feel like that might start a debate in the comments, at least for those who actually watch my videos. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know how, like, I get what they're going for, but at the same time, I don't know.
Also, something that isn't present in every film or even in the entirety of this film, but I just want to point out some cause and effect storytelling that's fully fleshed out leading to this point. And no matter how you shake it, this is Peter's fault.
It
Peter
is,
was
yes.
reckless with his power, which forced Uncle Ben to leave work, meaning Peter had to pick up Aunt May. However, those instructions were given to Peter right before Ben embarrassed him a tad, and then he got a date, which would be distracting. Then he tries out his powers, also distracting, and goes to see his mentor, the only real connection to his father's work, who he assists in growing a limb back on a mouse. So Peter forgets about Aunt May, gets into an argument with his uncle, and after an annoying interchange with a disgruntled employee, does nothing when he could have done something. That directly leads to Uncle Ben's death. But this outcome was set in motion the moment he exploited his power, in arguably a way every teenager would. I wouldn't plan on breaking the backboard. Also, what's with the traveling, Peter?
Yeah, that's all really well done, the way he broke that down. Like, yeah, Ben's death is very much Peter's fault. Like,
Ugh, you'd be feeling so many emotions.
Oh, I love that. The fact that Flash just goes up to him and is like, hey, you lost your uncle. I'm sorry about that. I know how you feel. Like, man, I've thought about, do I have a favorite Flash of the three? I think this one might be my favorite just because of that bit where he like tries to sympathize with Peter. He's not just a straight up 100% bully, you know?
Angry, obviously, and then someone you're always angry with shows pity on you? It hurts, but it also makes you want to sob uncontrollably. And Flash's genuine condolences get you in the soft spot.
Yeah.
Hugging.
Aww.
Again, Peter constantly throws his legs up, which is so reminiscent of those early comics and the spider-like movements. I'm not saying Toby didn't have them, but they're exaggerated into his parkour here.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
He knows what he has to do now. Complete facial reconstruction surgery. It's the only way. Get a more
A picture of Tom Holland, nice.
more stretched out dark origin for Spidey this time. He's beating up criminals, sure, but not out of any sense of altruism. It's about revenge.
Yeah.
Cut censoring. But it sounds like he was going to say Hubbard.
Yeah.
I sort of miss Toby's gross body horror web shooters, but reintroducing the mechanical shooters allows Peter's genius to be a little more deliberate and comic accurate.
Yep.
Finally, some Spidey action, even if he hasn't worked out all the bugs.
Yeah, you think?
And when you don't know what he's swinging from, just assume there's a helicopter. As a former screen printer, I resent the idea that anyone could get the coat thickness of that emulsion.
Or exposure time correct. Or even have the right intensity UV bulb to burn the screen on their first try. What mission using there, Peter? Also, nice job clearing that screen.
Where are all my screen printers at? Okay, fine. Maybe Peter Parker could handle it. After all, he did go online and order webbing for his web shooters.
It's a comic book movie, just go with it.
Joking aside, giving us our first...
Oh, this was really cool.
This is pretty spectacular.
Yeah. This Oh, sorry, I want to get close up on the costume.
The swelling score of a superhero cut short by the reminder that he's still just a kid.
Yep. Yeah, okay, the costume. I think the costume's fine in this one. Like, I get what they're going for. Make it, like, this is very much meant to be a darker take on Spider-Man. Like, you can tell they took a lot of influence from the Dark Knight trilogy with that. It's fine. It's... Like, I appreciate that it's trying to be different. It's not trying to copy Raimi and Toby, but I still like the suit in the next movie a lot better. Can't wait to get to that one.
Organic, got it.
Pretty easy to assume that Peter snuck in the car when the robber turned around there. He'd obviously been following him. He offers this bit of advice.
Don't dress like a car thief, man.
Yeah.
Also, as much as Peter is still goofing around and messing with this robber, this scene is presented more like horror with Spidey as the villain.
Yes.
He's almost a bully, or worse.
No, actually, yeah, it's pretty dark scene, actually, the way Peter is doing that. Like, I weirdly appreciate that it's different, like, with Peter being more of a villain in this one, before he eventually realizes, oh wait, I can use these powers for good. Like, that's an interesting take. It's like at first I was like, I'm not a huge fan of that, but now that all the Spider-Mans we've seen on the big screen exist in the same multiverse, now I kind of rationalize it as, well, it's all multiverse anyway, so there would be different ones. So sure, why not? Why wouldn't there be a version that's that's a villain at first, so yeah, I'm fine with it.
With Spidey as the villain, he's almost a bully, or worse. Dustin Hoffman quote aside, Peter's first real swinging scene is done live action, which obviously makes this scene feel real, since
oh, that's cool.
These character moments always elevate this movie. I hope we can all agree that Andrew Garfield is a heck of an actor.
Yes, he is. He is very much.
And Sally Field,
well, yeah. That's a really nice scene.
Reese Ifans is really overqualified for this role anyway, but then you get him selling this phantom limb scene. Ugh. Apparently he tied one arm behind his back for weeks to prepare for this role, and
cool.
James Horner's score really captures Connor's internal conflict with the hope that it's gonna all turn out all right.
I feel like Branzino.
Well, is it fresh? It's really all that matters. Also, is the implication that Flash was like dissing...
Wait.
Fresh?
Hold on.
It's really all that matters. Also, is the implication that Flash was...
They said Branzino in Homecoming? I had no idea.
Like dissing Gwen's mom's meal?
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry if I insulted you. That was not my intention.
You're welcome.
I don't know if it's his previous roles or if Dennis Leary just exudes terror in a very condescending way. But
probably.
The only girlfriend's dad that outdoes Captain Stacy is obviously Keaton's Vulture.
Yes.
I've been bitten.
So have I.
His relationship might be built on misunderstandings.
You have your suit in there?
My suit?
But they're just sweet together.
They are.
Again, so glad she goes on to live a long and happy life with Peter Parker.
Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting when we get to that.
I wish I could just... I can't. It's hard to say.
Again, I feel like maybe we all got duped by a few loud people saying Peter is some Casanova cool kid, including myself. Goodness, he can't help that he's good looking, but he consistently fumbles over his words like a goofball. I mean, is this charming? This wouldn't be charming for most people. Only really in a pitiful way, like, oh, look at the three-legged puppy.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are...
It wouldn't be charming for most people. Only...
Like, a lot of people are saying, like, Peter was too cool in this. Yeah, and he looks cool, but I don't know if I get that same, like, he acts cool. Now, he does feel awkward in this one, I would say.
Really in a pitiful way, like, oh, look at the three-legged puppy.
Well, that's awesome.
Spider-Man, not Peter. Nice way of revealing your secret.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Did she just name him? Someone's got to do it. Might as well be someone he loves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Find out what's going on, Alfred.
Khan's driver, Alfred, who is bizarrely credited as Alfie, is the carjacker from OG Spider-Man. Apparently the fall wasn't that big a deal.
Really?
And Masrani immediately went to work for InGen since he was never heard from or seen again in the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, that's true.
Who better to remind Peter he should stay golden and finally choose saving someone over avenging someone?
Yeah.
Peter risks his identity to help a kid not be terrified and then also encourages the kid to use that mask to embolden him as well.
I love this scene.
To that shot.
Yep, to that shot, yeah.
Saving Jack one more time.
Yep, saving the kid. Yeah, that's a really good scene, the way he saves him.
To embolden him as well.
Like showing, like actually seeing him save the innocent. Yeah.
Yep, to that shot. Saving Jack one more time. And how poignant is it that because of the decision he makes between going after the bad guy or protecting the innocent, Peter gets to save a proxy of himself only to be reminded that he never had that relationship with his father.
They react to sudden changes in temperatures.
Liquid nitrogen shadowing?
I'll be fine.
Nothing is ever going to rival We'll Meet Again, Spider-Man. But I love that the campiness hasn't been completely dropped, even if this is a slightly darker take on Spidey.
I know who it is.
I mean, the fact that a guy turns into a lizard definitely takes the realness out of it.
And as a Spider-Man who started out just beating up long-haired crooks, this is a sign that Peter is learning and even took in what Captain Stacy said at dinner as well as what Gwen said on the bleachers. Maybe realizing he doesn't know everything and going to the cops is the right move.
Cool.
When I read it, I cried.
The most unbelievable thing in a movie about giant lizards and spider people is Tommy Gavin admitting to crying. Just a classic Spidey moment.
Yep.
And then Peter uses the web just like a spider does, waiting for vibrations.
I'm getting stronger every day.
Ooh.
That's pretty pro.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt he planned on being underwater trying to use his web shooters.
Oh, that sucked.
Honesty.
Live in a chocolate house.
Well, that's impractical.
And fattening.
Nutrition lessons?
I've cramps.
Ah, the universal dad deterrent. Lady troubles. But I will say that her dad's response isn't so over the top. Plus, he was offering her hot chocolate, another sign of their strong...
My point got lost here. 17-year-olds who talk about living in chocolate houses usually enjoy cocoa. It's clear that he knows his daughter well. Okay.
Coco, Howard's making some cocoa.
Andrew Garfield's workout routine. apparently Dr. Connors is something of a scientist himself.
How do you think? Oh, this fight scene is really good.
This is the action set piece that always stands out in everyone's minds, and for good reason.
Best fight scene in the
It's an
movie.
showcase of each of their combat styles and plays into how a lizard would attack using its tail, while Peter is always clinging to things like a spider. Gwen Stacy's spine was never the same again. Still glad Peter learned his lesson.
Oh boy, holy crap.
Spider. Gwen Stacy's spine was
Oh wow.
never the same again.
Oh, seeing that in slow motion, like yikes.
Still glad Peter learned his lesson.
Yeah. Oh boy, and that's kind of how she dies later on. Oh boy, let's not think about that right now.
See, the informant knew Spidey would save him, otherwise he would have ducked. Stan Lee is always a win.
Yeah, that's my second favorite Stan Lee cameo. It's so funny.
It's a blue serum.
Okay, got it.
Gwen is Peter's guy in the chair. I like it.
Yeah, I like that too. The fact that
Gwen is Peter's guy in the chair.
yeah, Gwen isn't a damsel in distress in this one. She actually helps. I really like that. Yeah.
I like it.
This is my gift to you.
It actually makes sense to leave the video explaining why you did what you did for whoever finds your lair in case you die. I mean, it's literally a message to all the people he's about to infect explaining himself. This wasn't Peter getting stupid lucky. Connors left this on purpose. It's just...
I was trying to think about that. Like, I guess so. Like, I know that was the whole thing. Like, why would Connors leave that for Peter? But I guess it makes sense. Sure.
Took a brutal turn. Teenage Mutant Spider-Man.
It's order, okay?
I'm gonna get everybody out.
It's like he doesn't even know there's a dimension with Spider-Gwen. She's capable, bro.
Yep.
I have to say, I'm not sure if it's Raimi's influence or what, but Mark Webb, who was really a music video turned indie director, got a lot of the horror beats done well.
Ooh. Oh.
The leg is Spider-Man's kryptonite?
Yeah, literally.
The first Spider-Man video for the 2002 copyright claimed. I didn't even know it. Anyway, something
I hate copyright claims.
I missed, but a lot of you picked up on, was that ending scene where all the New Yorkers are standing up for Spider-Man, and how it was such a powerful moment because it was 2002, 1 year after 9/11. So seeing New Yorkers come together to fight evil was satisfying and probably cathartic for a lot of people. Ironically, that was a pretty small-scale threat at the time, and Goblin was really just going after Peter, even if a few busloads of kids got caught in the crossfire. Right? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what happened, yeah.
It was a gondola. Anyway, this time it's an attack on the entire city. And even if they don't know it, Spider-Man's heroic act of saving Ponyboy's son Jack had a ripple effect of New York again sticking up for and helping out Spider-Man. It's just a simple but beautiful display of paying it forward.
Yeah, I really like that too.
I don't know, maybe he hasn't quite earned this in the hearts of the people, but gosh dang it, is this a chills emotional build-up moment?
Yep.
I will give the Amazing series a slight edge over Raimi's in fast-paced, stressful action scenes. In addition to adding to Peter's intellect and engineering prowess, it gives him another weakness when his web shooters can be disabled.
Poor Peter Parker.
Cocky Curtis Connors.
Oh man.
Teamwork. Oh, now, see, that's the hand he got back, so now you've made him mad.
Yep.
Almost a blue beam to space, but it comes back.
Kinda.
For a finale, it's thrilling, full of some solid CG, ends on a redemptive note for Connors, as well as Captain Stacy's death, hitting you hard while also giving you the warm fuzzies because he came to accept and appreciate the importance of Spider-Man in the end. And with his last breath...
Hold on, he forgot a win. Holy crap. I just realized he forgot a win, being that when Captain Stacy finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, and then he goes to the Oscorp Tower and takes that cure from Gwen. In any other movie, they would have it where the dad would not understand the situation, and be all like, no, oh, get in here, or go home, to his daughter. But in this one, he's like, no, actually, I do get what's going on. I'm taking this cure so I can go up and help Peter. I can help Spider-Man. And that's such a cliche dodge, and it was really cool. I really like Captain Stacy in this movie, and honestly, I find his death in this one more heartbreaking than Ben in this movie, I'm saying.
Beth looks to protect his daughter. And a mostly silent yell to bring it all home. One of the things that Gwen confided in him that she was scared of, and now he can't even be there for her because of his promise. Literally behind bars with the window blinds.
Yeah, very not subtle.
She said organic eggs. Organic and cage-free are not the same.
While cage-free are treat.
Does that? I'm trying to figure out, where does that say it's not organic, or does it say cage-free? It's kind of hard to find it. I'm not sure where you're
She's
seeing
better,
that.
there's still
Oh, Cage Free. I see it now. Okay.
Full of antibiotics.
And that's been your egg buying lesson of the week.
Eggs. Cage Free does not mean organic. Okay.
You made you promise, didn't he?
Intuition, but also, if I'm being honest, it's a glimpse into a relationship with her father that she'd expect that from him and makes it sting all a little more. Not to mention Emma Stone crushing us with those Disney eyes.
Literally, yeah.
See, that's an extension ladder. Usually when you paint things, you like to start at the top and work your way down, so once you're done, the ladder would be either at its lowest or just lower than needed, so it's more stable and closer to the wall. Subtle hint that Peter is going so far out of his way to stay away from Gwen, he won't even walk near her on the way to class, making him late, even if he undoes it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Promises you can't keep, Mr. Parker.
Yeah, but those are the best kind.
Like, dude, why would you do that? Like, dude, Captain Stacy literally told you to stay away from Gwen. That was like his dying wish. And then you immediately go back on that. Like, why would you do that, Peter? Like, it's like, I feel like they should have saved that for the next movie. And then that would have made Gwen's death more heartbreaking when he realizes he made a mistake by going against Stacy's wish, you know? Because having it happen at the end so fast, too. It's like, I don't like that.
High schoolers, man. Love.
Oh, this shot is awesome.
Yep. I'm telling you, visually, specifically shot composition and set piece creation, this movie stepped up its
Yeah. No, these swinging scenes are some of the best in all Spider-Man
Spider-Man
movies.
is as fun as it ever was in these scenes.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Did anyone know this movie had a post-credit scene?
I
It
did.
appears to be teasing Electro, but I didn't know Jamie Foxx.
Well, actually,
Oh,
no.
this movie had a post-credit scene? It appears to be teasing Electro, but I didn't...
Actually, I'm pretty sure that guy, he's the same guy that pops up at the end of the next movie where he goes to talk to Harry and then he gives the Russian guy the rhino suit. And we still don't know who that guy is. Like, it seems like they were teasing him for a third movie because I know Sony was like planning a whole cinematic universe with just Spider-Man characters and all, which I really hate to imagine how that would have turned out. Because, yeah, I really don't know what they were planning with this, but well, no, actually I do know. They said they were trying to do a Sinister Six, but the way they're handling it, where apparently Oscorp just has all of the pieces, all the suits for them, it's like, it's a bit lazy, guys. But yeah, I almost wanted to say I'm glad the series ended after 2, but at the same time, man, it sucked when 2 ended because it ended with Gwen's death, and then Peter, we never really got to see Peter like fully reconcile with that. But at least we do have No Way Home for that. No Way Home, when Andrew was on screen, it very much was an Amazing Spider-Man 3. So at least we have that.
I didn't know Jamie Foxx. So I poked a little extra hard this week. Something I don't like to do a lot because I want this channel to be a place to talk about the good side of everything. This being the movie that launched 1,000 channels, I remembered it more lighthearted and objective. I guess the truth is that the lines between joke, real problem with the movie, deliberately false, and just mistake have always been a little blurry.
Yes.
For whatever it means for you. But it's all just in good fun, so let's talk about the movie. I think my biggest complaint is the similarities to Raimi's first Spider-Man.
Me too, yeah. Whenever it's like, because of that, because it's so similar to the first Spider-Man, you can't help but compare them, and that's ultimately its downfall. It's very similar to a lot of the live-action Disney remakes because so many of them are similar to the animated movie. You can't help but compare them. They're basically forcing you to see what's different about them, and that's where they fail.
I can sort of excuse a lack of faith in the audience, but also the Avengers and The Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. I feel like we were proving that not only did we like comic book movies, we were capable of following along with a broader story. At the same time, 13 to 20-year-olds, probably the most significant target demo in 2012, would have been 3 to 10 when Raimi's first origin story was in theaters. So maybe it was a disservice to those kids to not get to see Petey get bit? I keep joking with my friends that this would be a much better movie if 2002 didn't exist. But still, story elements were added and we got these sweet POV Spidey shots. I found Gwen to be about as developed as MJ was. I do enjoy that she had more agency than MJ usually did. And the chemistry between these two is solid. But let's do a little defense of the indefensible, shall we? Because after the amount of dumb stuff I had to address, I'm in the mood. People have a lot of problems with the story.
Yeah, that's a good example for that. Like, why would Peter have that on his camera? And that's how Kurt Connors finds out that Peter is Spider-Man. Like, it feels so lazy.
I'll admit that plot threads at least appear to be dropped, and it should have been handled better. But
very much like I mentioned this earlier. Peter, the whole mystery with Peter's parents, they just kind of drop it, and it's like, wait, oh yeah, what about that whole thing? And it's probably something else, but.
Two biggest, Brigitte Rotha's character disappearing after the car attack and Peter just abandoning his search for his uncle's killer are both the result of shifting motivations. Again, both stories should have been wrapped up on screen or with some dialogue, and I think one of them was in a deleted scene. But Connors no longer cares about Osborn or Oscorp or anything and anyone related to either. His plan, albeit twisted by the lizard brain, becomes make everyone equal with the lizard gas. And then, through Captain Stacy's speech, Peter realizes he doesn't see the whole picture and that what he thought was a
public service
really boiled down to being an amateur
assaulting civilians in the dead of night.
That, together with Peter's turn on the bridge, makes him realize revenge isn't the path he wants to go down. So they're dangling threads, but not without reason.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, it's like Peter not going after Ben's killer. That might seem like an unresolved plot thread, but it does make sense within the story because Peter does, like, again, like he said, shift motivation because he realizes he could do more with the Spider-Man costume. He can actually use to save people instead of getting revenge for Ben's death. So I'm fine with that.
Mark Webb has touched on the real focal message from this incarnation of Spidey, essentially being his effect on people. It's sort of an extrapolation of Uncle Ben's influence on Peter. Peter is lost at the beginning of this movie. Gaining powers really only shines a light on his issues. Ben's message to normal, unpowered Peter, and then Peter's defiant refusal to heed it are what caused Ben's death. Then he continues down a less than heroic path until he's confronted with a choice. In that moment, his decision inspires Jack to climb out of the car himself, specifically because Peter shows Jack he's just a regular guy. That Spider-Man is just a regular guy. And then the father of the child he saves is inspired in the end to take what little power he has to stand up to evil by helping Peter out. The final example is Connor's turn at the end. Even after being thwarted by Peter, he still chooses to save him. That's the power of Spider-Man's influence.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a flawless Spider-Man movie.
It's not.
Just that its problems don't have anything to do with Rubik's Cube. But if you are still confused by how it's possible that someone could pick up a solved Rubik's Cube, play with it, and place it back down unsolved, I have some good news for you. Today's sponsor, Skillshare, has just that course for you.
Skip.
To improve from 100 of my mics, and I know you better.
Skip. 154. Award the final Sean Parker revenge. Oh boy.
I like 7
Oh yeah.
Makes me look so tough.
Oh shoot. Well then. And that was CinemaWins is the Amazing Spider-Man video. Yeah, I liked it. He brought up some nice points and brought it up, and I'm not sure why I'm talking like this, but yeah, again, I think this is just a decent movie. I think there's definitely some enjoyable elements about it. It just doesn't like reach the same heights as the Raimi trilogy or even the Tom Holland movies. Like it just doesn't really work that well for me, but what it does well enough where I'm like, yeah, it was worth it pretty much. The second movie though, that's going to be interesting. I am curious to what I'm going to say about it because I definitely have some thoughts on that one, and I'm curious to hear what Lee says about it because there are definitely some major issues with that one, but we'll save that for the next video. That'll be all for now. Peace.